Hello guys, so Gladi has been nerfed badly on his DPS performance in the latest update. However, firstly he is considered overpowered to begin with. Now he is just like being adjusted back to balance. So for today I'm going to do a full review on Gladi after the nerf and is he still worth getting. So I will go through all of his skills and kits after his nerf, and second I will tell why Gladi is still worth getting, and thirdly I will do a performance test comparison in Black Dragon 73 before his nerf. His first skill has a very high damage multiplier and a low cooldown of 6 seconds before the nerf. Now it becomes 9 seconds. Luckily, his ability to deal permanent 50% P damage AMP debuff is still there, which is his niche. A permanent high P damage amplification. The nerf on this skill is actually justified because a very high multiplier skill with short CD is just too powerful, while Gladi himself is actually a very strong auto attacker. Skill 2 is his DPS buff and protective skill. Luckily this skill is not nerfed, but instead it got a minor buff. 30% chance with his fast auto attack to deal an additional amount of that damage is actually very high and is still very powerful. This skill is also one of his main niche ability, as he is the only DPS that can safely dodge incoming Dragon Breath or multiple hits of magic damage safely, where even some healers or tank may not survive, but he can survive it safely while able to deal high DPS. Skill 3 gave him the title of Boss Slayer. Yeah, gave, a past tense. Now he got stripped off from that title. Using this skill he was known as the One Punch Man because whenever we use his skill 3 he will chop off a big chunk of Dragon's HP or the boss HP. Now S3 doesn't deal a burst damage against boss anymore. Even though on paper this nerf seems like huge, but fortunately this is a long CD duration skill, a long cooldown. So this nerf doesn't affect him too heavily, and it is on boss only. The passive of skill 4 is his additional source of DPS as an auto attacker type hero. Back then, every 4 auto hits he will deal additional damage that ignores defense. Now it has been changed to 5 hits. But with his fast auto attacks and low multiplier for this skill, his DPS loss contributed from this passive is not really that high. It is still a loss but not really affected him that much through this skill alone. His unique weapons effect got nerfed heavily, and I believe this nerf is actually the hardest and the biggest nerf to his entire hero kits. At 0-star unique weapon, he already lost 60% of his critical damage value. Back then, with his unique weapon he can get 200% of permanent critical damage buff, but now it's only 140%. But since he has a very overpowered unique weapon effect that can be activated permanently, so I believe this nerf is actually justified, although on paper it is really very heavy. Since a lot of players has been asking whether Gladi is still worth getting after the nerf, I would say yes, he is still worth getting. He got nerfed, but I would say he is being balanced close to other similar role heroes. And he is still worth getting because he still has his niche role that no other DPS hero has. Currently he is still strong and powerful, just that he is not as strong as before, leaving his overpowered status. And why Gladi is still worth getting? I have 4 points here. Number 1. Gladi is the only PDPS that can do high permanent 50% P damage amplification debuff. Second, Gladi is the only DPS hero that has very high P defense and M defense stats similar to a warrior at lower unit weapon level and close to a tank at higher unit weapon level, with his T5 Dark perk. Number 3, Gladi is the only DPS that had high survival, built-in defensive or dodging kits while going for a full DPS gear options that no other DPS have. And lastly, Gladi still has his strong DPS, just that he has been tuned down, but he is similar to other DPS and he is tanky at the same time. So for the next part of the video, I will show the full run of Black Dragon 73 for 3 times. As a summary, before you guys watch the video, I would say that Gladi lost around 20% of his DPS. After the nerf, 20%. Before his nerf, I have actually recorded his performance and DPS value in my video titled Fate of Gladi. If you guys want to refer to the video, I have put the link in my video description so that you guys can check the video for a more detailed comparison before and after the nerf.